So welcome to Literally Same.
Same.
This is our first episode, and we decided to start this podcast to talk about
Whatever we want.
whatever we want.
Literally whatever we want.
Our like projects that we're doing now, and like our interests and discussions that we have about
Everything
stuff.
that we're passionate about and then we really want to talk about, and all the opinions that we have and that people can't wait to hear.
We have a
'cause
lot of
they're
opinions.
We have a lot of opinions.
And so we chose the name Literally Same because it's the words that we say the most to each other.
All the time.
Yeah, so we thought it would be
I don't know
fun.
what that says about us.
I don't know.
But it's true. But it's true.
Anyway, so welcome and go. This is B.
I am B. This is short for Benedetta. I'm Italian. I am a writer, freelance fashion journalist, and I'm really interested in championing emerging brands and slow fashion particularly.
And I am Camila. I'm Mexican. I'm a writer. I'm a journalist. I used to write a lot about lifestyle and travel. And now I'm hoping to write more stories. And my expertise is around storytelling and film and everything creative industries, but I can't really talk about anything. You get me started.
Yeah. Films,
Film, books.
Yeah.
Feminist
theory.
Conspiracy theories.
True crime.
Literally. Anyway, so today's episode, we're going to be talking about our respective projects that we're doing for an MA it's almost over.
Projects have been destroying our lives for the past 8 months or so.
Yes, it's been a journey.
It's been a journey.
So
it's been a real journey.
We're doing this MA called Applied Imagination only Applied Imagination now. They changed it.
Did they?
Yeah.
No way.
Now it's not in the creative industry.
Why?
I don't know.
That made my life so much easier if they changed it before. So now it's just Applied Imagination. Yeah. Okay. She's even more abstract than
yeah. So and it's very kind of hard to explain what our MA is, but basically you choose like a project that you're passionate about, you find a problem, and then you try to find out how to fix it. Well, propose a solution.
They wanted us to become problem solvers,
and
like do these interventions to test our ideas in the real world, when we're very good at creating problems for them solving
basically.
So that's going well.
Yeah. So okay, so today we're gonna kind of talk about our project and
what we've been up to. This interesting journey.
So let's start with yours.
So my baby project, Controra Fashion Club, it's now called Controra Fashion Club, but well, as you know, initially I wanted to paint wind turbines.
Oh, right.
Only like 5 months ago or less, I wanted to paint wind turbines. So how I got here, I don't know. Because, so I'm from southern Italy. And back home, Controra is that time of the day between noon and 5 p.m. When everything slows down. And I have these beautiful memories when I was a child in the summer, and we would go back home from the beach and just have lunch and then rest. But it's not just about rest, it's also playing and imagining. And I remember I would, those hours for me were about writing or playing with Barbie dolls, so that was very little.
It's like a time for yourself a little bit.
It's a time for yourself to, self-exploration, creativity, self-expression.
Amazing.
For me it was like that. And that's what I miss the most, probably, since I moved here, now almost 7-8 years ago, and that's probably an aspect of my culture that I really miss.
I think
that slowness. It's like slowing down to enjoy, savoring the time.
It reminded me of this movie, of course, Eat, Pray, Love, when she goes to Italy and they say because in the United States or even here in London, I think Mexico is a little bit the same as well. You don't ever like slow down to actually like enjoy
in
life.
Mexico you also have siesta, no?
Not really.
No?
It's more like Spain.
Okay.
Mexico, no.
No?
Not really. I mean, there are areas because Mexico is so large.
Right. Yes. So
there's areas that
Mexico
are a bit
City,
slower.
so,
yeah, Mexico City is very.
I don't think it's ever stops.
No, it's never. But it's like what's it called? The arte, the like the art of doing nothing. But in Italian, it's like ferniente.
Is it dolce far niente?
Dolce far niente. Yeah.
Dolce far niente. Yeah, which is, it actually can be very productive as well.
Yeah.
So that's an element of that. That's what I really wanted to incorporate. And then initially, so I was looking at place branding because I felt this obligation to kind of like export those values here, or like, like help also like helping my region, amplifying those voices there. But then I also realized that I was interested in it, but I wasn't necessarily passionate about it. My main focus was on place branding at the time.
Yeah.
And I want to change Puglia's, my region's place branding. But then I realized I keep going back to fashion.
Yeah.
Fashion is what I'm really passionate about. So I completely changed my project. I was in the library with Andre, our classmate, and the day before a final presentation for the end of that term, and I completely changed my project. And I was worried to the day after just to go up to my tutor and say, everything has changed. This is my new project.
No, I think all of it, it's a process that you go through in these masters where you literally like change your mind so many times.
Which I think we should also normalize. Like it's fine. The good thing about these masters is that, like I feel like once you graduate university, then you feel this obligation. Okay, now I'm an adult. My life is gonna be all about I'm gonna find a job. It's gonna be all about seriousness. There is no time for playfulness anymore. And this masters was a great way to kind of explore, to really think about, okay, what sparks joy, or what are you really interested in? It was a priceless opportunity. It was obviously a real privilege to be able to do it.
Definitely.
With all with its faults, because there are some really structural problems with it. Yeah, but
okay, tell me more. And then you chose a fashion direction.
And then I chose a fashion direction, yes. And I founded Controller Fashion Club. The idea, I said it's called a club, but obviously I don't need a membership.
But maybe eventually you will.
I don't think I would.
Yeah. Maybe like not a membership, but people like signing up or something like that.
Maybe something like that. We'll see like what happens further along the way. But for now, it's about, I have an Instagram page called Controller Fashion Club, and where I post about emerging designers and alternatives to fashion, for instance, like 5 sustainable knitwear brands or 5 sustainable rave fashion wear. They also, I try to find affordable brands too, because I know that one of the issues with sustainable clothing is that it can be really expensive and not everybody is able to afford it. And
I think that's what most people like, that's the main issue for them. Like they're like, sure, like if I had the option that was as affordable as like fast fashion, I would definitely like go for sustainable brands. But there's also like this idea that they're very expensive always.
And I also feel like there's a perception of sustainable ethical fashion that's quite plain and boring. Like what did you when I tell you like sustainable fashion?
I mean, I kind of know a little bit more now because of you and like, but yes, I think, but I do like originally I thought that they were like kind of like recycled clothes, like there used to be this brand.
They use this sometimes it's also recycled material.
Yeah, but it's cool. Like I've seen, I don't remember where, like these pants that I think I bought them, and then I realized that they were from like recycled material, like 98% recycled material. and they're very cool, and they're soft. They're not like,
think about like a clothes feel on your body. And also I feel like fashion should be, I don't know, like self-expression and a way also to, you know, can explore your desire, because very often like we end up buying so much because we want to feel needs that have nothing to do, there are no material needs. The materiality paradox, where we want to fulfill non-material needs with material goods like clothes. And that's why you know, also one of the issues with overconsumption, why we consume so much, but it's also consuming us at the same time, which I think it's why I wanted to create a space that was a bit more about also forming a community, because I feel like, I don't know, the memories, my favorite shopping experiences, it's always on those memories, it's always with somebody else. It's more about like
the experience.
The experience, like being there with that person. So I think if you can create that in a space, and also at the same time helping those brands that are trying to make a difference, and like just loving down the experience in itself, that's what I would love to do. And like doing events in the future, for instance, I look at Dalston Wine Club as an inspiration, because I think Anna Crosby did a really good job making wine more accessible and just more fun, because there's this idea of wine tastings are kind of like just, you know, for certain people,
like not be presumptuous,
but like she's made it like actually like a fun experience for young people, and that's what I love to do with my brand for fashion. It's interesting actually. Slow fashion, which also slow fashion is about it's about just changing the way that we look at fashion and clothes. So for instance, thinking before buying something, and thinking before throwing something out, and you know, also like repairing our own clothes. My dream one day would be to be able to make my own clothes. That would be my dream. we know somebody who makes his own clothes basically, and it's fantastic. Amazing. It's amazing. Just
also like exactly, like you never think how much work goes behind. Like I never thought about this before I I met this friend of ours that he makes really cool trousers, and the amount of work that goes into like making one pair is like insane. Or like me being in contact with other, like I have a friend in Spain, and she designs clothes that are like intervened by artists.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And it's like insane.
It's insane,
like how much work goes into it. And I don't know, like I feel like clothes sort of when they have all this like context, they sort of become a little bit like wearable art in a way.
It's an added value. That's an added value. And absolutely. It's actually, it's funny because one of my favorite designers, Martin Margiela, I found out the other day that when DIY wasn't as cool as it is now, he had made this step-by-step guide on like crafting your own sweater using 8 pairs of socks. And if you've seen,
I saw it.
I posted it on Instagram. I just think it's fantastic because, you know, like teaching people how to make their own jumper using a white top using socks.
No, that's crazy.
It's crazy. I love his mind. It's brilliant.
And tell me about the some of the events that you've done, and what do you think?
Well, you were the first one.
I did. Upcycling.
A cycling workshop at uni. At the time, I still wasn't really sure. I was exploring fashion and retail, and it was more about making shopping a more inclusive, empowering experience. And I decided to do this upcycling workshop because I thought it would be, which anyway, it's fun because now it's exactly what actually I would like to do in the future again. But at the time, it's more a way to get feedback and data in a more playful way. And also, and then I realized that people were having fun and were like socializing and, you know, making friends. And it was great. And then I did an online event with 2 emerging brands, iBeam Fashion and Monozygotics. I know both designers. Well, I interviewed one of them, and the other one I know through freelance work. And that was a great opportunity just to find. At that point, I was interested in championing emerging brands.
I love the process that you went through.
Like so many different stuff. And it was a great opportunity just to learn about what they're doing. And because there were so many, even though their brands are really aesthetically different, there are so many similarities between their journeys, challenges that they had to overcome, on the highs and lows of say your own business. And it's hard.
Also, fashion is a very like cliquey or like gatekept or industry, I feel. Well, most of the creative industries, so there's this like highbrow situation around fashion.
There's a lot of gatekeeping,
a lot of gatekeeping, and it's really hard to like break into it, especially if you're like bringing like all this like groundbreaking new ideas and you kind of want to go against what like the brands have been going for all these years. So I think it's cool that you're doing like your part in bringing like this new designers into.
I'm trying, because I know I see how much work goes into it, especially when you try to like an ethical small brand that has a price breakdown explaining exactly what they charge as much for their clothes. And I think it's it's great that there are these people who are trying to make a difference. But it's so much work. When I talk to them, like burnout, it's so common among like in young designers, especially because also I feel like I was reading about this in one granary, about how fashion school, not every fashion school, but fashion school doesn't really teach them or it doesn't really prepare them for what comes after. So the business side of things. It's all about like your creativity, exploring what you want to do.
It's kind of like a little bit what I'm basing my project around, which I'll get into it. But like exactly that's my premise. Like creatives are expected to like go out into the world and like become like a 360 kind of person. So they're expected to dominate like Instagram and all of like the social media apps and create their own like
the persona. Like explain that to me.
An amazing like engaging compelling voice that they can like talk to.
A butcher, a baker, candlestick maker.
Like it's impossible. Also they have to do PR for themselves. Also they have to not only create like written content, they also need to create like visual video. It's so much like
finding people to collaborate. They also have the same values, which is so hard
while you try to be authentic but also aesthetic.
Like and think about like every single aspect of
it's impossible. It's literally an expectation. And it's like, this is part of my research. You can read it in my blog. I'm finishing that blog post. But it's like an expectation that society has on like young people, especially from millennials, because they were like, oh, they're the digital generation. But we weren't actually. Like we did see this switch. Like we did, like we're
Gen Z are the
like digital natives. But like millennials weren't. And at school, nobody taught us anything about that. Like we're just expected to know it. So it's not cool, I think.
It's a lot of pressure. For sure. And I not to change topic, I just want to ask you. Since I know that you do purchase fast fashion.
That I do fast fashion,
And obviously I know that I just think it's a fruitful approach to go up to people and say, why do you buy fast fashion? Because there are so many different, but what do you think would make you more interested in changing your approach to fashion? What would you like to?
I think for me, it's like mainly I didn't know much about it. Now I've started to like know more. I think exactly like not knowing about something makes you disinterested.
Right.
So if you know Zara, H&M or whatever, like they're there, them, you go there. When you start to learn about the other options they're out there, it's like, oh, you start to like get more interested in it. I think it's in part that also like the accessibility. Like for example, sometimes you need, I don't know, like you really need to buy shoes. And the option to buy them online
It's much easier. No, totally. Yeah. No? I mean, I only recently stopped buying fast fashion. I genuinely just decided that I'm going to buy less clothes because I realized that I own enough. Yeah. So I'm just gonna see what I have and like shop in my own closet, basically.
No, for me, like this like realization kind of happened as I moved from Mexico to London and then moved flat because I was like, you actually see the amount of clothes and things
and
you
have to carry
it and then put it in like your little closet and you're like, why? Like, in what moment did I have all this? Also, like, for me, most of my clothes were in storage for like a year and a half and I couldn't access them.
Right. So you forgot what you had.
I forgot. And most of the clothes that I had from before, I actually didn't like them anymore when I got back. And I had to like donate, which was good.
We were also shopping.
Yeah, you came to shop in my donation pile. But yeah, like it made me like, I feel it's maturity also.
Oh my God, yeah. When I was like younger.
Yeah.
Also, like, because you want to fit in, you want to belong.
Also, you don't know what your style is.
You don't know your style, yeah. You just want, you're gonna buy the thing that's trendy in that moment.
Yeah.
Now I don't care about trends anymore. But when you're young, I think that's why also it's important to intervene, like talking to people when they're younger.
Yeah.
Maybe help them figure out that fashion can be a way to express themselves other than.
Also, I feel like this generation that's coming, not everywhere, but it's more conscious about these things. And so
more interested also in these topics.
Yeah. No, yeah. So I think those are like the main reasons. But I'm so interested now, and with TikTok also, I've been getting a lot of like knowing a lot of designers. And really like with this really weird design. And I think it's so cool. Like if you could wear something like that, it would be like, why would you even wear something from H&M if you can wear that?
Right.
You know? I think it's I don't know. So yeah, I think it's more like indifference and not ignorance and maturity. And also that now we're starting to have like more access to these brands.
So it should be, fashion should be more accessible, and also like the way that we talk about it, still changing the perception, I think, that most people might have of certain brands. Yeah, I think that's also important, which I'd like to do.
No, yeah. And I think it's great. Like, because if I follow you, you are like my source to know about this. Thank you.
Tell you how to make a sweater using 8 pairs of socks.
Oh my God, literally. We should do
it. I will try. I will 100% want to try, but I mean, also again, like the socks, where do we get them from?
Yeah, we'll get Primark, probably.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
No, it should be like old socks, but then you want to wear all socks on your like body.
That's an issue we need to look into.
We have to look we have to ask him.
Sustainable pairs of socks. Yeah. Sorry, Martin. When you
excuse me.
Sorry, Martin. What did you mean?
What did you mean by this?
And do you
expect us to buy?
Men's socks, he says. They're size 44 and 47. I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. I remember, I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but I just remembered that during the pandemic, this Harry Styles sweater.
Of course, it's Harry Styles.
We're also obsessed with Harry Styles. We like this J.W. Anderson, I think it was like this really colorful, like what's it called? Estambre. Knitwear.
Yeah.
Wool? Wool, whatever. Yeah. It became really like famous. So like
the cardigan.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that one. Yeah. And it was like yellow or something. No.
It was orange. Like colorful.
Yeah, okay.
And so I remember girls everywhere, maybe boys too, but I mostly saw girls, were trying to make it. And so then the designer was like, oh, okay. Here's the like pattern. He released like the pattern so that people could actually like really make cool, it. Actually. Yeah, I love that. And so everyone cool. was doing their own. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's like this top designer that his like designs are worth I don't know how many like dollars. And he was like, wow, this is so cool. Of course I'm gonna release this super.
That is really cool, actually.
Yeah. I think more people should do that.
I also love I have a pair of jeans now that they're like I should throw them out because they're really old, but I don't want to throw them out. And I think, what do? I remember I was watching a video once. This drag queen who I love, Raja Gemini, and she was wearing this top that was made from an old pair of jeans. So it's like, so you cut the crotch and then you like, wear the you see what I mean? It becomes like an off the shoulder top.
That's so cool.
That is so cool. But I don't know if myself I could make it. I'm gonna look into it.
I think I'm gonna send you this designer that I saw on TikTok, because she does stuff like that. I don't know if those are her.
I think that's so cool, like to change the.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
I'm so excited. I feel like in a year from now, like my whole closet is gonna be like one of a kind.
That is my dream. Yeah, that is the dream.
I mean, that is the dream.
Own clothes, actually,
and then like leave it to your children if we have children.
From a really cool brand yesterday, this guy who studied the what's it called, the Royal Academy of Arts.
Yeah,
and he wanted to make art more accessible through fashion.
Yeah.
So he makes like he creates the designs himself, and then he makes the clothes. So like there's this pair of trousers, cargo trousers, I really love.
I feel like my friend in Spain, that's similar.
Yeah.
Concept.
That's so cool.
I think it's so cool. Yeah.
It's also streetwear.
Yeah.
So art and streetwear together.
Yeah. The high and the low.
Yeah. I forgot the name of the brand, but it's really cool.
We'll tell you later.
Tell you later. Now, tell me about your project.
My project. Oh my god.
Tell me about your baby project.
No. Okay, so mine was also a process. It was really funny because my original idea that I came to the program with, not the one that I applied with, but the one that I had when I arrived in January.
Yeah.
It was this creative consultancy.
Yeah, I remember. Do you remember that, actually? Yeah.
That it was kind of more because my objective was to help young creatives get closer to their goals. And so kind of my idea was around helping them download the concept that they had from their heads to more.
You're making giving it a visual,
giving a visual, written, all of those aspects and whatever. So then through feedback and talking to teachers, I kind of was discouraged about doing a consultancy. So I switched around into Latin America.
Yeah, Latin America.
Yeah, which was really cool.
I love their intervention.
I mean, it was so cool. I wanted kind of to do this salon tertulia salon get-togethers where we shared about art and film and literature and Latin American focus, but also
I feel like that's in your DNA, hosting.
Yeah,
that's really in your DNA. So it's something that you could do
either way.
I think it's something that you can do anyway.
That's what I thought. That's kind of why I was this isn't gonna be a
job, not a job, but a business.
Yeah, because I can do it anyway. And also I spend money doing it, so it's not gonna be a good idea for a business. So yeah, and then I was catatonic for 3 months trying to figure out what to do, and then I realized that I had to use kind of what I was good at. And what I realized I was good at was I have all this experience in writing and journalism and editing. And so I was I'm just going to use that to help creatives. And so now my consultancy is based around storytelling and narrative and helping creatives take control of, first of all, become confident in their creative selves.
Yeah, which is really hard, actually.
Yeah. And second of all, through that confidence, taking control of their labels that they put in themselves and the words that describe them.
By creatives, you mean?
I mean, the thing is, it can be anyone, but particularly artists, it can be designers, like fashion designers, graphic designers, all types of artists. I mean, like painters, photographers, even like actors, even writers. I mean, writers, I don't think they will have a problem with this. But like filmmakers, I don't know. But the thing is, it can actually be used by anyone. Like, it can be like an entrepreneur. I actually, like, this idea came to me because one of my friends from Mexico, he's an entrepreneur in the health sector. And he asked me like, oh, you're like the best person to help me create the story of my company, because I need, like, I'm having a lot of interviews and I don't know how to tell like a compelling story. So can you help me? And so I helped him and it was really good. So I was like, there's something here.
So and you enjoyed doing it too.
I did. I think I don't know, I love like talking to people, like the sessions where I have like one-on-ones with these creative people. It's like kind of like asking the right questions for them to like understand themselves.
That's really important.
Yeah. And
it's something else that we talked about now, of course, just the right questions.
Yeah. I feel like a little bit of like my background in journalism and interviewing many people of different like backgrounds, ages, all that kind of like helped me, because sometimes I would get to an interview with all these questions that I was going to ask, but the vibe was like different. So I kind of threw my questions and just like went with the flow with what the conversation was going.
Right.
So I feel like you have to have that kind of sensibility to like see what that person is, like where you should ask, what you shouldn't really like get into and all that. Oh, to help them. They have to be open.
Yeah.
And then
you're really good at that, I feel like.
Yeah, I like it. It's fun. Maybe I should have been like a therapist. Whatever. But yeah, and then like give them the tools that they need to like take control of their voice, because it depends like in what voice they want to talk about. Take control of what their story is, their project, whatever they need. It really depends. Each person is different.
What's the name of your consultant? Does he have a name?
It does.
What's the name?
The name is Atómico, which means atomic in Spanish, but it can also be understood in English. I kind of chose it because I feel like
it's explosive.
It's like an explosion. I want to explode your mind, explode your confidence, like help you get to the next level. And also like atomic, I imagine like this like waves happening and like expanding. That's kind of what I want to happen with your story.
Minus the toxic destruction.
No, yes, like obviously. No toxic. I mean,
no. Only toxic by Britney Spears.
Literally. Only toxic by
Britney Spears.
But yeah, that's kind of the idea. But you also have like a little bit of storytelling elements in your project.
Yeah, I was trying to combine again, like similarly things I'm passionate about. So writing. So I think I agree with you. Like, everything is about storytelling and the story. How you tell your story.
Yeah.
And so trying to combine storytelling with fashion. So my question at the moment is, how do I ignite young consumers' interest in slow fashion and through storytelling, basically.
Yeah. And you did a really fun exercise that I feel.
My latest one, yes.
The latest was really fun. So we had to do whatever came to like whatever we were creatively inspired to do.
I collaborated with this brand. It's a small ethical brand called Monozygotics. And I personally know one of the two designers were actually twin sisters, and the name. And I asked her to send me just some visual material from their latest collection. So all this content that they created to promote their latest collection, Ambrosia Salad.
Yeah.
And I put it all together.
I loved it.
It's text, a video, photographs from the photo shoot, TikToks. Yeah.
That was cool.
And I sent it to the participants, you guys, asking, can you please create something of your own response? So I wanted to test how would you react to that material, if that would inspire you. And also like with the prompts that I gave you to think about fashion and your relationship with fashion.
I feel like I ignored those prompts.
You did?
I read them, but like my inspiration went sideways.
I love your poem though. She wrote an amazing
I wrote a poem. Yeah.
I love your poem.
Loved it. I was like, cool. I like it. It's a fun poem.
I loved your poem.
Thank you.
I hope you had fun doing it.
I did. I think it's so fun. Like, I might introduce this to like we should do a collaboration at some point. But like Dana was saying I think it was Dana or someone else, that inspiration doesn't come from nowhere. Like you need experiences.
You don't wait for it.
Yeah, you cannot sit in a classroom or in your house and just like wait for the inspiration to spark. Like you need pictures or video or like experiences. It
doesn't come from above, it comes from like within.
But something has to like poke you in some way and make you like react to something.
It's a gut reaction. You get something. Yeah, absolutely. Which I think would be even more interesting. I didn't have time to do it this way, but I would love to do something else so more sensorial, so that people can actually touch the garments, for instance, and the fabrics, and then like see what that inspires them. I think someone did something like this. A previous applied imagination student.
Really?
A former applied. I think, I don't know if it was last year, but I remember like seeing a blog. That was about that. More or less. It was more to do like with poetry and fashion. Which is also, I think, could be a really cool combination.
I feel like, in the end, all of the creative industries are so connected. Like I've have a master's from before in like the object of research was the creative industries, and I kind of chose it because I didn't want to close myself to one. Now I'm so confused because how am I gonna like have a career, because I have to choose one. But like they're so complementary of each other, and they all come from like the same kind of place. Like this like sensibility, originally, now it's been like corrupted, but they come from like all this like sensibility of like the world and like wanting to like transmit this like message.
How you perceive
or like to understand the world or people in it or things that happen,
and also like connect other people and relate to them and form that sort of sense of belonging, community. Absolutely,
which is cool. I think,
which is really cool.
I think that's it. Or what do you want? Do we have more to talk about?
We always have more to talk about, but well, that's enough with ramblings. I'm quite tired.
Literally same. Thank you for listening. I hope you liked it, enjoyed it. Please.
More to come.
More to come.
To come.
Okay.
Until next time.